Hello guys, and welcome to this tutorial today. In this tutorial we're going to learn how to draw a building plan like this in AutoCAD from the ground floor to the first floor, and then we're going to draw the elevations, the roof plan, and the section. So why I have made this drawing is as a result of a comment I've been getting from my followers and subscribers asking me to create a full building plan that is from ground floor to sections to approach elevation, all the elevations and the roof plan and so on. So anyway, it has been a while that I posted on this platform, and it's because of some engagement that I've been, so that is why I've not been able to post. So I really apologize for not posting early enough. So in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to draw this building plan in AutoCAD. So you can see that in the plan here I have the ground floor plan, I have the first floor, I have the approach elevation, I have the roof plan, I have the right elevation, also I have the rear elevation, and then lastly we have the left elevation. So in the course of this tutorial I'm going to guide you and show you how to draw this plan one after the other. So we're going to draw it in parts. Part one is going to be the ground floor plan, then later on first floor plan and other parts of this building plan. So to get started with this, I'm going to select some layers and then hide it. So I'll go over to where I have the layers and then turn off some of the layers. So I'm going to turn off elevation, I'm going to turn off the roof layer, and then I'll come back to this plan and I can select some of this text that I have here and then hide it. So select all of this text. For the purpose of this tutorial I'm going to select these and then go over to where I have isolate object and then hide object. So now I have only the ground floor plan which we're going to draw in part 1 of this tutorial. So to get started with this, then I'm going to the layers and then I will turn off some of the layers here. I'm going to turn off the block layer, I'm going to turn off the wardrobe, I'm going to turn off the text, so turn off the text, and then I'm going to turn on dimension so that I can be able to work with the dimensions which I have here and use it as an illustration and make it easy for us to draw this building plan. Okay, so in drawing, before you get started, you have to set your unit, you have to set your dimension and your layers. So I'm not going to cover that in this video. I already have a video that covers that, so I will leave the link of that video in the description in this video. Okay, so to get started, go over to your layer and then select floor plan layer from the layer tab, and then select a rectangle tool, and we can start from here any point, and we're going to enter the dimensions of all these different parts of the building. So we have 3400 millimeters, and then we have 3600 millimeters. Then we press enter. We again repeat the rectangle tool and take an extension from this point, and then that will be 225 millimeters, which will serve as our wall thickness. Then we enter the dimension of this, which is 1975, and then 1400 millimeters, and we press enter. Repeat the rectangle tool and then take reference from this point and enter 225 millimeters for wall thickness, and we can take this point and this point as reference, and then this is going to join up this way. Now repeat the rectangle tool again and taking this place as reference and wall thickness of 225, we're going to enter 4000 millimeters and then minus 3800 millimeters as the dimension of this very section. Then repeat the rectangle tool again from this point. We're going to take reference and then an extension of 225 millimeters for wall thickness, and then we'll go up this way by 2100 millimeters in the X direction, and then 2375 millimeters in the Y direction. Repeat rectangle tool, and from this point give an extension of 225 millimeters, and then we have this point and this point. We now connect this, so we're going to have this. Now the next, again, we're going to pick rectangle tool, and at this point we're going to draw our dining at this point. So take reference and give extension of 225 millimeters for wall thickness, and then we're going to go this way by minus 2800 millimeters in negative S direction, and then 2000 millimeters in Y direction. Repeat rectangle tool, take this point as your reference point and wall thickness of 225, So this is going to be 225 millimeters, and then you go up this way. So we have the dimension of this to be 2800 millimeters, and then we have 3000 millimeters in the y direction. Repeat rectangle tool and take reference from this point, and here we're going to have 225 millimeters for wall thickness, and here is going to be 1500 millimeters and 1800 millimeters for this portion. And the next we're going to draw is this part where we have here. So we select the rectangle tool again and take reference from this point. So we have 225 millimeters for wall thickness, and here we can enter 1400 millimeters and then 1200 millimeters. So we have this. Repeat rectangle tool, take reference from here, and that will be 225 millimeters wall thickness. And then we go this way. This is 1400 millimeters, and then we have 1975 or 1975 millimeters, and we press enter. Repeat rectangle tool, we take a reference from here and then give an extension of 225 for wall thickness, and we go this way by minus 3600 millimeters and then 3400 millimeters, and then we press enter. Now we are done with most of this part of this building. So the next thing we are going to do is to draw the outer wall, and to do that we're going to select the polyline tool and then trace all this line in the outer rectangle, and then we're going to draw a line, and then later on we can now offset this line. So trace this point this way. And then when you're done, you can join this up and then select offset tool or type O for offset command, and then enter the offset of 225 millimeters, which is our wall thickness, and then select this rectangle or the polyline which we have created, and then we're going to offset this outside by 225. Then we can now delete the polyline which we created earlier, and then we have the portion of this plan this way. So the next thing we're going to do is to create this veranda and the car park and this kitchen yard and the veranda we have here. So again, we select rectangle tool, and at this point we can draw to this point. Again, repeat rectangle tool, and at this point we select at this point and then trace to this point and make a reference. We have that part. Repeat rectangle tool, we select this point, and to this point we trace. We have this part. And then for the car park, we have the dimension of this is from here. So we have dimensions of 2425 millimeters, 2425 millimeters, and then minus 3025 millimeters that way. So this becomes the plan. So the next thing we're going to do is we can now go into this building and see how we can cut and make openings in the building. So we have to keep the original building close so that we can take reference and see what is done in that part of the building. So let's move this. Type M for move command and move it close this way, and then we can leave it there. Now let's zoom in to see this clearly. Now pick line tool from here, and at this point we click and drag to draw a line. Repeat line tool. At this point we click and click here to draw another line. Also at this point we draw another line this way, and then repeat the line tool. We draw another line this way, and then after that we're going to offset this line depending on the size of opening which we want. So to start with the dining area, I'm going to offset by 700 millimeters. So I'll select offset and type 700 millimeters, offset left and right, and then repeat offset, and this time I'm going to offset by 500 millimeters, and this is this way and this way. Again, repeat offset, and now I'm going to select offset by 400 millimeters. So I type 400 millimeters, and then this will be this way and this way for that opening, and then repeat offset again, and now offset is 700 millimeters, and then offset this way and offset to this side and press enter. Now we can now erase all these middle lines. We don't want them anymore. So select these and delete them. Now use the trim command by typing TR in your keyboard and press the enter key double time or twice so that we can activate the trim. Now we can now trim all of this part. We don't want this way, and then we have these lines trimmed out neatly. So make sure you do the trimming properly so that you have a neat drawing. So I'm going to trim, and then after that I can now erase some of the lines in this drawing which I don't want. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to create the doors. So for me to create the door, I have to go to the layers and go to the door layer and have it activated. Now select the rectangle tool again, and anywhere on the canvas I'm going to click and I'll enter the dimension of this door to be 900 millimeters by 225 millimeters, which is 4 thickness, and I'll repeat the rectangle tool for another set of door. For instance, the bat and the store, which have a smaller door. So this will be 700 millimeters by 225 millimeters as well. So I can now zoom in closely to see how I can edit this. So I'm selecting this and I'll select this, or rather I'll go over to the Arc tool and select the option which I have start, center and end. So have that selected, and I'll click this point at the start point and here as the center, and this is the end point. Again, repeat the same Arc tool, select the start point, the center. Okay, let's select this start, center, end, start, the center and the end. Then we can now select line tool. From this point we click and we drag. Again, repeat line tool. From this point we click and we drag. Then we can now delete these rectangles which we created, and then we use offset to offset for the door thickness. So I use 80 millimeters as the offset. So I offset this and I offset this way. Then use line tool and join up these two lines this way, and then same thing applicable to this point. And after that you can now select these doors and you type J for join command. Now when you're done with that, based on how you're going to place this door, I'm going to mirror these doors and then also rotate some part of these doors. So I'm going to select these and then select mirror command and mirror it this way and select no. Again, I want to select this door, select mirror command and mirror this way and select no. Again, select this second door and go to mirror and then mirror this way and say no. Select the entire door, mirror and mirror this way and no. Now select the entire door which you have mirrored and then copy to a different point this way, and then the same thing to this first part of the door and copy to this way. Now when you're done copying this, we're going to rotate this based on where we need it. So we can just click here and rotate this door, this way. So we have this door that way, and then the same thing here, we're going to select this and then we rotate this door this way. Okay, so when we're done with that, we can now zoom out and then begin to pick this door and fix them where we want them to be fixed. So zoom closely or zoom out, zoom in rather, so that you can be able to see this plan very well. So pick the door based on where you want it to be placed, and then we select move or type M for move command, and we can now move this door from this point and place it. So we're going to place it randomly, and later on we can now rearrange this door. So when you're done with that, you can select the trim command and begin to trim out the parts of this door which you don't want. Okay, so we trim all of this part this way, trim this way. I'm going to trim this way, trim this way. So we have the doors placed in this plan. So the next thing we're going to do is to draw our windows. Now that we're done with the doors, we can erase them from our drawing. So we delete them. So to draw the window, we're going to the layers again and then turn on the windows layer and select rectangle tool, and from any point we can enter dimension of 1200 millimeters, 225 millimeters, and press enter, and then repeat rectangle tool for the smaller window, and this will be 700 millimeters, 225 millimeters, and you press enter. Then we can zoom in closely to see this rectangle. We're going to select it and then explode, and then we pick line tool. I'll design this based on how I wish. You can design your window anyhow you wish. Okay, so this, and then I'll select line tool and draw from here, and also draw from here to this point. I will not erase these two lines. I don't want them anymore in this drawing, so delete them. And I'll use the offset tool and I'll offset by 80 millimeters. So I'll set this way, and I'll set this way, and this way. So equally the same thing here, offset, and then offset this way. When you're done, you can use the trim command and then trim where necessary, based on what you want to have. Okay, so I have this trim out this way, okay. So when you're done, you can delete some of the lines which you don't need in the drawing, so you just select it and delete. Now when you're done with that, select the entire window and type D for block command, and then you can type either window 1 or window 2. So I'm going to type WW, and then I'm going to specify on screen where I can pick this window, so I specify this point, and then also the same thing, type B for the smaller window, and then I'm going to type W34, okay, and select OK, and I'll select this point as the pick point. So now when I'm done with that, I'll select these windows again and I'll copy it and then rotate it for vertical windows. So these are horizontal windows, and I'll copy these same windows for vertical windows. So now we can now select these second windows, and then we select rotate command from here, and then rotate this way, or we can rotate up this way, and then also we select this and repeat rotate. So we rotate this window this way. Okay, these are vertical windows and these are horizontal windows. So when you're done with that, you now zoom out again to where you have your drawing, and then we can now copy these windows and then roughly place them. Then later on we can now go back and begin to place them properly. So you just copy them. So next thing we're going to do is to go into this plan and see how we can neatly place these windows in the plan. Okay, going to move this to this point. Okay, I think we have been able to place all the windows neatly. So next thing we're going to do is to trim. So we select trim command and trim out of this plan so that we can have, okay, this is now well placed, so it's select move and move this from here to this point, and then we use move again and move to this point. Then we can use trim and trim this and trim this portion. Now we also trim this and trim this portion. Okay, so we have all the windows placed in this plan. So the next thing I'm going to add is to add the blocks. So if you're going to add a block in your drawing, okay, what you're going to do is you type add, that is ADC, add center. So this will open the block template that is already installed in AutoCAD. So when you're doing that, already you can see some of the blocks which are used. So if you're not here, you have where you have the home icon. You click on the home icon and it will take you here. Next thing, you're going to click on N-US. So you have the design center. This is the design center that contains the block which you can use for your design. So we select design center and you can select home space planner or home designer or kitchen and so on. So we have all the blocks. So we click here and we pick the blocks from here. Okay, so I'm going to show you. Just click one of these and click to this point. You click and drag, then you have it inserted in your drawing. So because of time factor, I just illustrate this. I'm going to make use of the one which I've made in the floor plan which I made earlier, and I'll just make use of it, copy it from that position and place it in a current drawing. Okay, so I can now delete this. So now that I'm done with the dimension of this building plan, I can now go back to the layer and turn off the dimension, and then I will turn on the block layer and I will turn on the text. So we have this, so you can see what we have. So the building in this plan, we have the object in blue as the block. So we have a different layer for this having blue color. So I'm going to copy this. I've already illustrated how you can pick these blocks from the design center. So I'll select all these and right click and select similar. So it's going to pick all the similar blocks that are contained in this, and I'll now select copy, and then I will select the edge of this building as a reference point and I will place it here. Okay, so I'm doing this so that this video can be fast. So again, select this and go to select similar, or you can just select all the elements in the block. Okay, we select them one after the other this way, and then we copy it to our new plan. So when you select this, you select copy, and then you pick a reference point. So I'm going to use the edge as a reference point and I will place it this way. So I think it is fitting neatly into this drawing. So the next thing is I'm going to add a text to this plan. So to do that, go over again to the layer and then activate the text and then type MT for text command and press enter on the keyboard. Now you can click and drag to specify where you enter text. Okay, so I'm going to type bedroom 1. So you have bedroom 1, and when you're done with the text, ensure that you select this text, Ctrl A to select the entire text, and where you have annotative, you have to change your text size to 2050 rather, depending on your dimension settings. Okay, so when you're done with that, you hold the Control key and press the enter key so that you enter. So you see your text appeared on the screen like this. So you can decide to change the size if this is too small. Again, double click on text and then go over to this and type, maybe let's use 300 millimeters, and then press Control, and we're going to press enter. So we have the text like this. So we can now select this text and use the move tool, and we can move it and place it on this point. Okay, so to make this tutorial fast, again, I'm going to select the text which I've already created from this different part, and then I'll select it this way, all of them, and then I'll copy it to the new drawing. Okay, so select all of these and this. So we select copy and we select this edge as a reference point and we place it here. So now let me delete the text that was here original, and so that we can have this. So you can see how this plan is beginning to appear in it, right? So this is how you go about drawing a floor plan. The next thing I'm going to do is to add the hatches which I've added here. Okay, so to add the hatch, I did this in the floor plan layer. So to do that, I'm going to go over back to the floor plan layer and have it activated. Then type H for hatch command and press enter. When you're done with that, it's going to come up this way. You can now select this area as your hatch. But before you do that, I want to create a boundary so that this hatch will not affect some part of these plans. So I'll create a boundary this way, and I'll create a boundary using a rectangle, please. And I'll create a boundary from here to this point, and then I'll create another boundary from here to this point. Then I'm going to turn off the doors. I don't want to have the doors now so that it will not affect the hatch. So turn off the doors and then type H for hatch command, and then I'm going to select this portion and select this portion, and then select this portion and this portion for the hatch. So this portion as well. So when you're done, press the enter and select this hatch again. Now right click and select hatch edit, and then where you have this dialog box hatch edit, go to angle and select this pattern. There is this pattern I used, so this is the pattern which I used in this drawing. So click on OK and then set the scale. I think I use a scale of 40, and then click on OK. So you have your hatch on this. So you can now go back and delete the boundary which you created earlier, for the hatch. So we just select it and select erase, and that is gone. So we now go back to our layers and turn on our doors. So you have it this way. So I think this is the basic thing you need to do in this. So there's one more thing that is left, which is drawing of the stair. So you can see I have the stair here, and what I did in this case was to go to, first we have to go to the stair layer and then select a line tool, and I want to draw a line from here to this point and repeat the line, and I selected the middle of this line this way, and then I decide to offset this line at least to have some little space, maybe by 50. Then we offset this line to the left and okay, maybe that should be more than that. Let's use 80. Repeat offset and use 80, and then we offset this way and we offset this way. Let's zoom in to see this properly. So now when you're done with that, we can now erase what we have in the middle. So select the line in the middle and delete that. Again, we're going to repeat, or we're going to offset this line for the steps. So we're going to use 150 millimeters, for the thread of these very steps. So we have 150, and then we can now click and begin to offset this way until we get all our steps. Okay, so this is how I created the steps, and you can use your own method as well to create your own steps. So you just keep offsetting until you get the numbers of offset which you so wish. When you're done with that, you can now use your trim command and erase some part of these which you don't want. So I'm going to select this part and trim that off, and I will select this part and trim that off. Then the next thing is this line which I have here is where the landing is. So I'm going to select this line and delete it. Now pick the line tool again, and then okay, let's have some edge where we can be able to delete these so that we have space. Okay, so we use trim and trim off this line, and then now we select the line tool, and this is to draw an arrow that will show the direction of this stair. Okay, so we are going this way and we are landing this way. So I created a little arrow this way, and another one, and another one this way, like this. then another line this way. So we have a straight line. So we can use trim and also hold shift down to extend, and then we trim off this line. So we have that arrow that is showing that this step or this stair is actually landing towards that direction. So we now have this. We can now delete most of these lines which we don't have in, or we don't want it in this plan. So guys, so far so good. I think this is how this building plan, this is how you can draw a building plan using AutoCAD software. Please like this video, subscribe, share it to your friends, and give it a thumbs up. Okay, so keep following. Very soon I'm going to release the second part of this video, which is the first floor plan. So this is the ground floor plan of this one, of this building. So when we're done with the ground floor, we go to the first floor, and then later on we start drawing the elevations of this very building plan. I hope you enjoyed this. Please, you can put your questions and your comments in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next tutorial. Have a nice time.